Howdy there, stranger, and welcome to the long-gone land of Nevada. If you're here to stay a while, I'd be glad to tell you a tale from the Waste Sands. The story of one of the biggest dumbasses to walk the wasteland and how he saved it. Or, he might have destroyed it. You'll just have to listen to the tales I have to tell. So, Fallout New Vegas is amazing. I've been wanting to play this game for ages, but just never got around to do it. But now, I have the ability to show you all this incredible story, and I hope you enjoy. Obviously, Fallout has had a popularity boom since the TV show came out, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy the beautiful wasteland. Anyway, let's get to the start of our story. A mysterious wasteland courier delivering a mysterious platinum chip until we meet this guy, and we get to this beautiful opening cinematic.
What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig? You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
We wake up in the office of this guy, Doc Mitchell. Name myself Drayan and physically reconstruct my face for a solid 5 minutes before I get this pale-ass face. Now, let's start with our special stats. These stats essentially just mean what I'm incredible at and what I suck at. I got lightweight strength, the perception of a wary trout, do not bend endurance, movie star charisma, gifted intelligence, agility of someone with 2 fingers coated in butter, and 2-headed coin flip luck. So, I'm the weakest, most fragile thing in the Mojave with mediocre intelligence and a disdain for sunlight. I have butterfingers, but I'm ridiculously lucky and can talk my way through almost anything. God, I've created the dumbest character. After having a little therapy session with the doc, we can look at my other stats. These ones are skills, and affect how good or bad I am at certain skill checks. Want to hack a computer? You want to have a high tech skill. Want to talk your way out of a rough situation? You need a high speech level, so on and so forth. Each of these things gives me the opportunity to use it to unlock some special progression or dialogue. For me, my skills are kinda well-rounded at this point, but I have a specialty with energy weapons and I'm good at science and sneaking around. Next up is traits. These are more permanent and often come with trade-offs. I chose good-natured and skilled, which looking back on it, was an awful decision. I should have replaced good-natured with wild wasteland, which is a trait that makes really cool random stuff happen like aliens invading and stuff like that. After rummaging around and taking only a few necessities, we get seen out by Doc Mitchell, who as a parting gift offers us a Pip-Boy. This item will allow us to fast travel, see our inventory, stats, and plenty of other good things. One of my favorite features that I cannot include in this video is the radio feature. This radio station feature is awesome because you can wander the beautiful wasteland to songs by Dean Martin and even have music like Big Iron, Johnny Guitar, and Ain't That a Kick in the Head play. Heartaches by the Number by Guy Mitchell is also a personal favorite by me. It just sucks that I can't put it in or else this video literally gets restricted in some countries. Why? I don't know. But looking back, you can see I already have some weapons and stuff in my inventory that I didn't just steal from the doc. Stuff I got because I bought the Fallout New Vegas bundle, which gives me all of its beautifully amazing DLCs. But we'll get to see some of those another time. Going to the nearby tavern, like it's the beginning of a D&D campaign, we can find Sunny Smiles, who will teach us how to survive the Mojave by Doc Mitchell's recommendation. Going behind the saloon, we can test myself with a gun, and dear God was my build bad for guns. I couldn't shoot anything. I mean, seriously, look at this clip. My gun barrel is pressing against this bottle, and the shot still misses. That's how bad my aim is. After learning how to headshot geckos with VATS, while clearing them from the water supply, Sally's almost satisfied with the job. Oh, I didn't explain VATS. For those who don't know what it is, it's the Vault Tech Assisted Targeting System, VATS for short. It is easily one of the most useful parts of any Fallout game, and basically shows the statistic of you being able to hit a shot on anything. Another aspect of VATS is AP. It's less talked about, which is why I actually didn't know it when I started playing, but still a very important aspect of VATS. AP, or Action Power, is this little bar on the right that allows you to lock on to targets in VATS. What you can do to fire multiple shots in VATS is use the Action Power multiple times. Doing that will make it more likely you kill the target by shooting more shots, but you have less opportunities to use VATS, and VATS can still miss. All it is an auto-aim system for you that gives you the % chance that a shot will actually hit. Sometimes shots will completely miss, other times they hit a different part of the body. It's all a roll of the dice, and combining my 10 luck and awful gun skills, that averages out to crap shots. Luckily, we can build around that later. While completing the rest of the tutorial, we can meet this guy, or a robot, Victor. He's a friendly cowboy robot that actually was the one to dig us out and bring us to the Doc Mitchell. After completing the tutorial with Sonny, we can go back to the saloon and find this guy wearing a convict outfit. His name's Joe Cobb, and he's a powder ganger from one of the factions in the Mojave. He tells us that he'll burn all of Goodsprings to the ground if he doesn't get Ringo. Who's Ringo, you ask? Well, he's a traitor that shot at the powder gangers instead of paying the toll from invading their territory and fled to Goodsprings. In this mission, we actually have two choices. Join the powder ganger and burn Goodsprings, or help Goodsprings and get rid of their powder ganger troubles. Well, first, we need to learn a little bit more about this Ringo guy. Going to the abandoned gas station nearby, we can find Ringo and hear his side of the story. The powder gangers attacked him in his caravan while traveling back from California, without so much as a heads up. So which side do we pick? Well, if you're me, you think, oh, I'll come back in a bit, just want to do this one thing first, and then immediately forget about this quest. So, off I went into the treacherous wasteland of unimaginable horrors. Now the main story mission is to go find who shot you and get your revenge. And to do that, we need to make our way to New Vegas. But first we need to figure out what the hell we were carrying that made that guy kill us for it in the first place. So we gotta make our way towards Prim to find the Mojave delivery service we work for and find out what the hell is going on. Making our way to Prim, I got my dumbass stuck at the fence trying to find a way in when there's a road literally 50 feet ahead of me. I wish that I could say I found that in a timely manner. So finally, making our way into the quaint little town, we can see people patrolling the area, whether that be on the streets or on the roller coaster. Before I tell you what happened, let's run some guesses. Did I A, try to sneak around the area and avoid guards, B, scope the area to see if there was any way to get through or take out the guards, or C, go in like a blind lunatic with my butterfingers and a caravanner's shotgun? If you picked anything but C, you obviously haven't watched enough of my videos. Now it doesn't matter whether my strategy was a caravanner's shotgun or a machete. It ended pretty bad and took many attempts to get anywhere past the guards. After eventually killing them, we leveled up and could put some skill points and perks into the build. I put those points into guns and sneak, but then for the next trait I chose intense training, which is actually a really useful trait. While I don't necessarily gain something, I can put one extra point into my special stats. I put it into agility, obviously one of the more important skills compared to the others that could use some extra points. After heading inside, we can meet this fellow, Johnson Nash. He introduces us to this fine city by saying we should get the hell out. Turns out he also runs the local Mojave Mail outpost. Perfect. But he doesn't have any work for us. Yeah, I don't think I want that job back yet. He says that if you want any help finding the guy that shot you, our description fits some guy that the local sheriff had some notes on. Right now he's been kidnapped by some powder gangers and is being held in prison across the street. But before we move on to grabbing him, let's meet this guy. His name is Prim Slim, and I'd show all his dialogue, but my stupid self had the Mojave radio on the whole time, so I can't play without getting copyrighted. I swear next time you'll be able to hear more of the dialogue and actual gameplay. But we get to learn about Vicky and Vance, the pair of criminals that the casino is named after. They are the 4th or 5th most infamous couple in America, and our good old pal Prim Slim would love to tell us about them. They started their crime spree 2 days before Bonnie and Clyde, and while they weren't bank robbers and murderers, they did illegally cash checks, pump gas, and drive off without paying, and shoplifted. The pair died in Plano, Texas, with their car full of bullet holes displayed in the museum. The pair had been driving through when they accidentally drove straight into a shootout between police and robbers. I just love the personality and story told in this casino. And something I actually didn't know but learned later after watching a documentary about it. This is actually a riff on Bonnie and Clyde. Their car is actually in a museum in the town of Prim in Nevada, which I didn't know, and I thought that this was just some, random thing they wanted to put in. Nope, there's a reason it's in there. It's a parody, and I love it. What I do not love was my imbecile ass when it came to saving the sheriff. I swear, it took me over 10 tries just to get past this first guy. I tried sneak attacks, guns, dynamite, machetes. None of it worked. I just kept dying because I'm stupid. After many, 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 many deaths, we finally kill the last of the bandits and loot their corpses. In a backroom kitchen, we can find the sheriff tied up where he promises us his logs in exchange for his freedom. We can also find out that he's only the deputy, and not a very good one at that. So most of the town wants us to find a replacement for a proper sheriff. But that's a quest for another time. Now we can leave Prim for greener, or rather, sandier pastures. Going past Prim and these couple of gas stations, you can find an NCR outpost. Up here, I talked with one of the leaders and took a mission to kill some rad scorpions. Even though a large majority of the footage I'm about to talk about is missing because of some crashes, I've tried to recreate some of it with how you see now. After finishing that quest, I took another quest from an NCR sniper where they had me check out a smoking wreck of the nearby town called Nipton. After killing some gangsters squatting in this wreckage outside Nipton, I arrived to find who is considered the most hateable Fallout New Vegas character. And I don't want to brag, but guess who won the lottery? I did. Anyway, after reporting back, the NCR is crapping their pants because the Legion is close by. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention those guys before either. Two of the biggest factions in Fallout New Vegas are the NCR, or New California Republic, and the Legion. The NCR believes in old world values, like taxes and democracy and equal rights, while the Legion believes in crucifying anyone who doesn't agree with them and slavery. So, yeah, I helped one and not the other. I do eventually want to try doing some Legionary quest lines, but I think they're too pissed off at me at the moment. Especially after they've literally sent legendary assassins after me. But that happened later. Another thing about the Legion and NCR is that they are vying for control over the Mojave. So after doing that, we can make our way to the next destination in Novak. Walking through the deadly pass around Nipton, we can eventually make our way to this quaint little town of Novak. The main distinguishing feature of this town is the motel with Dinky the Dinosaur and their sign that at one time had said no vacancy, now eroded, only saying Novak. Walking into the place, we can actually find Victor right in front of the motel. We can also talk to the motel owner, Jeannie May. We can buy a room from her and have a semi-permanent residence in the motel. But even with how small this little town is, it's brimming with mystery and intrigue. We can walk into the giant dinosaur right next to our motel room and meet a lookout sniper named Manny. He can tell you the story about how his friend Boone, a fellow sniper, has been angry with him and he blames him on the disappearance of his wife. Eventually we can talk to Boone at night and ask him about it. Boone suspects that someone here killed his beloved wife, as everyone is a suspect. Manny never liked her because she always tried to get Boone to leave with her and go somewhere else, constantly arguing with her. Or it could be some of the other residents who found her a pretentious nuisance. But it couldn't be innocent old Jeannie May, could it? Well, Boone tells you to wear his beret in front of the dino when the person who killed his girl comes by. After investigating all the people of Novak, we can eventually pickpocket Jeannie May, or just break into her personal safe, hidden in the back office with an item called a bill of sale. Showing it to him will make him thank you for avenging his lost girlfriend and is willing to join you on your journey for your help. But there is also a different quest here in Novak. Another quest that I spent a lot of this playthrough on. And of course, it didn't record well. Well, at least the first half. Getting the quest, we find out that the old factory nearby used to be a great source of scavenging income for Novak. But now there's a bunch of ghouls and other creatures there that make it too dangerous. So, it's the friendly mailman's job to play the role of an exterminator. But the part I love about New Vegas is that it's rarely that simple. Going through the pass towards the factory, we can destroy a bunch of feral ghouls with this beautiful flamethrower from before. The reason I switched from the shotgun? I'm not suited for it. Looking at my skills, energy weapons is one of my highest stats. So logically, since energy weapons also covers anything that use flamer fuel, well, let's just say that the Geneva Convention doesn't apply to feral ghouls. Making our way past like 20 of them, we can finally make our way to the front doors of the facility. We can find a radio that ushers us to get to the top floor for help, so we should oblige. Making our way through the drab office spaces and feral ghouls, we can get up to this area and find a bunch more ghouls, but these ones aren't the same. They're more sentient, intelligent, and competent. Some were working with machines as a human comes up and calls us a smoothskin, the usual term that ghouls use to address humans. Then we can meet the logical leader of the bunch, Jason Bright. He's a ghoul that believes that the courier could help them in return for leaving the facility. He asks if the courier could spare the ghouls and instead get rid of the nightkin in the basement and help them fix some parts. In agreeing to this, we can sneak into the basement and be attacked by these stupid, giant, invisible nightkins. Eventually, we can haggle with the leader and convince him that there are no stealth boys in the facility. So they leave. That was surprisingly easy. Now, I know that was a lot of terminology I threw out, and I know that probably the majority of people who clicked on this video aren't diehard Fallout fans and maybe just watched the show. I haven't watched it yet, though, and I need to, so I don't know if the Nightkins were addressed. Nightkins are these things. They're giant mutants that often use what's called a stealth boy to sneak around. They use brute force and strong melee weapons, but are often relatively dumb and schizophrenic. Stealth boys are these neat Pip-Boy add-ons that can work effectively as an invisibility cloak against enemies. Think of it like the cloak and dagger from TF2. But I don't use them effectively because I'm an imbecile. Anyway, meeting back up with Bright, we can finally bring him and his ghouls back to the basement. Why do they want to be in the basement? Well, the basement works as a connection to a secret project that this facility had been working on. Rocket ships. Jason Bright wishes to use these rocket ships to bring him and his fellow ghouls to what he quotes as the great beyond, as he saw in a vision. So, he's basically a ghoulish Joseph Smith. If you don't know, you can look that one up for yourself. Now we can see these rockets that they're working on. Meeting Jason back down there, we can hear them nearly ready for their journey. But he's missing a few pieces that Chris can tell us to get. Chris being the humans that the ghouls had taken in previously, because for some reason he too believed he was a ghoul. There's only two missing components, a quantity of isotope 239 igniting agent and thrust control modules. Now, as I left the safety of the basement to go on a journey to find the igniting agent, a strange man approached me. He had claimed he wanted to trade, but then gave up because lying isn't his nature. His name's Malcolm Holmes, and he's an older man who has been following us ever since he saw us pick some Blue Star sarsaparilla caps. I hadn't even noticed I got them. They're rare and worth a lot, and according to him, they lead to a treasure. It must be a treasure supposedly from before the Great War, because the person who keeps supplying sarsaparillas, Festus, is apparently the one who holds the treasure. It could be water or guns or anything. No one knows. He warns us that there are many people who will lie, cheat, steal, or even kill for those caps. One being Alan Mark. Hope we don't meet him if that's the case. And then the guy just leaves. Now, the thing is that after looking him up on the wiki, I don't know if we can actually meet him again. And apparently he was carrying caps for himself. So, maybe I should have just killed him. Oh well. So, we're off on our little merry quest to find some grade A rocket fuel. Just don't tell the ATF. So going to some random ass ruins, we can find a guy in a radiation suit with the isotope we need. Convenient. The next one, not so much. Depending on your ethics or build, this is Lady Gibson. A simple NPC. A trader that has the thrust modules. Selling for a whopping 500 caps. Now, that is a small amount in comparison to what I would later obtain. But at this time, I did not have such caps. And my speech and barter were too low to run a check. So, I had two options. Gain enough money to buy them, let up to get the skills required, or kill her. That's also an option. But I didn't feel good in killing her for no reason. I mean, who would feed her dogs then? So, off I went. I went to see if I would level up with some quests from areas in which I had unfinished business. I first went to Prim to talk to the mail delivery guy to learn a little bit more about my task. We can find out that the robot cowboy had actually been the one to hire us. The orders were things like dice and a chess piece, while we had the platinum chip. The courier who would have taken our order previously saw our name on the next in line list and decided to give us the job. What makes Courier 6 so special? Besides my special stats. Talking to the deputy we had saved from before, he tells us that he's a pathetic lawman and needs a sheriff. So, he recommends two options. The NCR, or some random powder ganger. And you see, me and the powder gangers don't have a great relationship. So, I went with the option that seemed to work out a little bit better. Turns out, there's a third option that I wish I had known, but I'll tell you what it is later. I crossed this stupid mini minefield that the NCR had laid down and not picked up when they went to their command tent. When asking the lieutenant about supplying people as a sheriff for Prim, they say, "Oh, we would, but we just don't have enough guys or guns. Can you please just ask the local outpost because they've been useless so far?" So we have to walk our asses all the way back to the outpost and beg them to throw guys at Prim. Or we can just fast travel there, but Luckily, my barter skill was high enough to convince this bookkeeper to spare a few uniforms to make their way down to Prim. We go back, tell the lieutenant, and he finally gives Prim a sheriff. And then these ungrateful, annoying citizens complain when they have a new sheriff. "You told me to get the NCR." You know what? I'm glad you have to pay taxes now. So anyway, what was that alternative that I said earlier instead of getting the NCR, that one powder ganger guy? Well, the alternative would have been making Prim Slim the sheriff. Prim Slim! I'm so mad I didn't know about that. Anyway, while doing that, I was scavenging and trying to scrounge up the caps necessary to buy the thrust modules, and I finally got 500 caps to give to Gibson. Then I gave the thrust modules to Chris and Jason and used them to fix the rockets. After a beautiful speech from Jason, who thanks us and Chris, they start to board their rockets. But Chris is angry that he isn't really a ghoul. He's tempted to taint their launch and have it ruined, but we convince him that he could just join Novak's community and know that even if in the past humans haven't accepted him, the ghouls always will. He agrees and we go to find the launch room. After an embarrassing 15-minute room search and Googling to try and find this stupid launch room, you can even see me get mad in the footage, we can finally send Jason and his flock of ghouls, which is what he refers to them as, to the great beyond. We get this great cutscene. With that, I can finally mention this little blurb of text. Reputation. Fallout is a very special game that has quite an in-depth reputation system. I'm not smart enough to detail the ins and outs of it, but you can be anything from idolized to villainized by a faction. Like how I'm currently idolized by Novak and villainized by the Legion. For reasons. Reasons we'll get to some other time. But that's a tale for another time. If you enjoyed this video and want to see a sequel, then please like or comment or just show it to someone else who might enjoy it. Yeah, I know, corny, and I don't usually like doing it, but if you guys show support for the series, I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyways, I would just like to set aside this moment to go off script for a second. So, I recently fixed a problem that I've been having with YouTube for a while. For a long time, for some reason that I don't know why, my account has been ineligible for live streaming. I don't know why still, but that issue just got fixed as of today 2 nights ago. So, what I'm getting to is that if you guys want, I could try and stream Fallout New Vegas for all of you guys to see. I granted can't guarantee that it won't crash, as that's something Fallout New Vegas tends to do, but I'd love to share this game with you guys. It's an incredible experience, and I'd love for next time's Fallout episode to have some interaction from you guys, and maybe even have you guys help me make decisions or show me things that I don't know about the game. Anyway, that's something for another time, and that's probably something I'll do in a community post later. Anyway, it's been me, Moosh. I'll see you later. Comments, criticism, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated, and I will see you guys later. Arrivederci.